Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host Dave, and joined as always by Sarge the Destroyer. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on?
Nothing.
Woo!
I feeling weird. Started a new medication, so I'm feeling weird, but I'm here physically.
Yeah.
Physically I'm here.
Well, I'm glad that you aren't like nude. And that's a plus.
True. Although I'm not supposed to be drinking while on this medication, but I don't care.
That's the fun part about getting old, man. I'm also not supposed to be drinking. But your thing is worse than my thing. I feel like. So do you want to tell the audience what's going on with you, or do you want to keep it? Yeah, me and Ben Franklin and Henry VIII now have something in common. I got the gout like a 17th century lord. Very proud of myself.
I mean, also you're very regal, and you have the name of someone who could be like a knight, like Sarge the Destroyer. Exactly. Like,
of course,
they would sing ballads about you back in the 1700s. I feel like.
Well, so I have a delightful skin condition known as psoriasis that I picked up from my time in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Typically, people get psoriasis from like just genetics, but I'm the only one in my family with it. And it didn't develop until I came home from Iraq. So don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out.
From what I know about psoriasis and eczema is that sometimes it can be brought about by stress. It might be dormant in your thing. So I would say going to Iraq, which is an active war zone.
It's a stress factor.
Somewhat.
Well, there's also some early data showing that the exposure to burn pits could bring it on as well.
Gotcha.
But regardless, people who have psoriasis are twice as likely.
I thought you said like dada, like you're like with the way the baby says dad. I was so confused. For like
my dad said you could get gout from anything.
I told you the medication's fucking with my brain.
That's all right.
Anyways,
so the early data says that you can get psoriasis from burn pits, and I'm pretty confident that's where I got it from. So I get to enjoy the psoriasis, the itchy scalp mostly.
Yeah.
Used to manifest on my face, but gratefully that has stopped happening. So I don't have a red face all the time. Really fun times in my life being old. But anyway, so when you have psoriasis, you're twice as likely to get the gout.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I'm sharing all this information with the audience.
Well,
just so you guys know the things I do to survive. I take so many pills in the morning.
Well, I mean, they care. I mean,
yeah,
you know.
Well, no, I know they care. I don't think they want to care, but I feel like I'm forcing them to. But yeah, so it sucks. Gout's a pain in the balls. But the good news is I'm going to be eating a lot healthier, so I don't get it anymore. I guess if you just limit like red meat and stuff like that, and you don't eat packaged, beef jerky and shit, you'll be okay.
That sounds awful.
It's really terrible. I fucking hate it. But I'm going to be.
It'll also add like a bunch of years to your life, though. I mean, let's be honest. Like more time with your kids.
Exactly. And great. I'll have the body of a Greek god, because most of the time I just fill this thing up with cold SpaghettiOs. So
hey man, I've seen pictures of you from the past. You were
from back in the day when I was.
I guess
I was a minx. Is that it?
Let's put it this way. I wouldn't have kicked you out of bed for eating crackers. All right.
I was a zaddy. So yeah, I'm that's what the kids are saying, isn't it?
Dude, I'm almost 40. I have no fucking idea.
I don't know either.
All right, sorry. So do you remember last week? The episode we did last week on the Montauk Project?
Yes, of course I do.
Okay. So this episode
Thank you for reminding me.
It's going to be kind of like a continuation on that. I don't know if you remember, but at the end of last episode, I said we're going to continue this on because I'm really big into this time travel conspiracy theory shit.
I love it.
It's one of my favorite types of conspiracy theories. So we're going to be continuing that on with the sister project. I guess you could call it that. It's Project Pegasus. Are you familiar with Project Pegasus at all?
I feel like it might be a brony thing. It's like some kind of incel thing that's going on.
Well, let's put it this way. If you're into Project Pegasus, you probably are an incel because...
Yeah, you might be a brony.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't be mean to the bronies. They haven't done anything wrong yet.
I honestly haven't heard the word brony in years. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore.
It is still a thing.
Is it?
It is still a thing.
No, I'm sure they exist, but I feel like they're probably more accepted now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a different age.
Exactly. All right, Sarge. So everything we know about Project Pegasus comes more or less from one man. This is a lawyer and self-proclaimed whistleblower named Andrew Basiago. Now, according to Andrew, Project Pegasus was a secret government program operated under the Defense Advanced Research Agency, or DARPA for short. Are you familiar with DARPA? Have you heard of it before? Yes,
I am familiar with DARPA. It's like a shadowy organization that does a ton of stuff, and none of it's that bad, but everyone thinks it's that bad.
Yeah, the way the conspiracy theories think about it is that it's like they're R&D for like crazy scientific shit.
They're the ones that are like controlling the weather from that
bank
HAARP of satellites they have in. Oh, I'm thinking of HAARP. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. But the Defense Advanced Research Agency, or DARPA, is probably the people behind HAARP. Like, it's one of those, it sounds scary, but it's literally just them researching technology and stuff like that.
And if you put their name together, it sounds like a long extinct musical instrument.
The DARPA
What's a DARPA harp?
Yeah.
The DARPA harp.
No,
you play it with the leg of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. So
okay, I don't even know what that means.
That's a dinosaur. I don't know.
I know what. God damn it, Sarge. All
Did
right.
you go to public school up here? Because that would explain it.
Why is the DARPA harp played with a T-Rex?
Because it's a long extinct musical instrument. This is circular now. Now we're going around in circles.
This is already so Sarge, my brain is already fried. I can't handle what is happening.
I'm derailing this show.
Yes.
I did not sleep well last night, so that has a lot to do with it.
Okay, let's circle back.
Let's keep going. Yep. Driving on.
Per my last email, so Project Pegasus was a secret government program operated under the Defense Advanced Research Agency, or DARPA for short, not HAARP. Now, this went on during the late 60s and early 70s, 1968 to 1972 to be exact. Now, the goal of this project, much like with Montauk, was to develop and refine time travel and teleportation technologies for military, intelligence, and geopolitical purposes. We saw
how well that went with the Philadelphia experiment. So good idea, guys.
So with this one, though, there's no with Montauk, they did all these things, but they also did the psychological shit. This has none of that stuff. So at least there's that. Now, Andrew claims that he was recruited into the Project Pegasus at the ripe old age of 6 by his father, Raymond Basiago, who was, I guess, an engineer for classified military projects, according to Andrew. Now, just like at Montauk, Project Pegasus liked to recruit young, and there's a couple of different reasons for this. One, children's minds, according to Andrew, are much more adaptable to the stresses involved with time travel and teleportation.
I believe that was R. Kelly's methods as well.
Which included, but are not limited to, disorientation, spatial confusion, and unspecified psychological effects. I guess they attempted to do these experiments with adults in the past, but they more or less, from what I gathered, went just full on insane when they did it with
So
adults.
They essentially just made these children work at Target.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, another reason to use kids is that their minds are easier to condition and control than the minds of adults. Kids are impressionable and can easily be indoctrinated into following the directives of their handlers, no questions asked.
Right.
And the last reason is that no one is going to believe a kid if they start blabbing about a top secret teleportation time travel operation. If an 8-year-old kid ran up to you, it was and you were like, "Hey buddy, what did you do this weekend?" And they were like, "I went in a time machine and went back in time and met Jesus." You'd be like, "Cool. Sounds like you had an eventful weekend," and you just move on from that conversation. You wouldn't.
Oh, I wouldn't have moved on. We would have yes-anded that way all the way to the end. I want to know everything.
But what I'm saying is that you wouldn't believe a word they said. You wouldn't.
Oh no, of course not. But I would ask many questions.
Exactly. But I mean, this is really smart. If you're using a fucking 8-year-old.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Also, little kids have small hands. So, if the machinery breaks, they can put those little digits in there and fix shit.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a Snowpiercer, how they use the small. Yeah. No. Well, it's funny you say that because we'll get that the size thing in a bit. Okay, so Sarge, let's talk about like what these nerds were up to. So the central focus of Project Pegasus was teleportation and time travel, like I said. According to Andrew, the U.S. government had developed 3 different devices to aid in this endeavor with the help of some research notes that were quote unquote seized from the late great Nikola Tesla after his death in 1943. Now some people say that the government stole these from him before, like they broke into his apartment before he died and stole this information, or once he died, they like stole it from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, so these 3 pieces of equipment were teleporters, stargates, and the chronovisor. Okay. Any questions so far?
Several. But I'm going to let you keep going because I'm going to derail it again. So just ignore me.
All right. So let's start off simple. We'll start with teleporters, which is like the simplest of the 3 devices. So Basiago describes teleporters as like the backbone of Project Pegasus. These were physical machines designed to transport individuals or like things from one location to another on Earth instantly. He described them as being 2 large elliptical booms about 8 feet tall, and in the middle, they were separated by a quote unquote shimmering field of radiant energy. I don't know what an elliptical boom is, but I can only assume it looks like just like 2 giant pillars, and in between it is like the force fields in Star Wars. I assume it kind of looks like that. Like that's just there. And then you'd walk through, you would end up wherever you are. But these teleporters, while impressive, were still limited to earthly travel. They didn't involve time travel, nor could they send you to like other planets. For those types of things, Project Pegasus needed something even more advanced. And this is where the Stargates come into play. So, unlike teleporters, which only dealt with spatial relocation, Stargates could manipulate both space and time. Now, according to Basiago, a Stargate wasn't just a device that would take you from like one location to another on Earth. It could transport you across space-time, opening portals to different points in history or even different planets like Mars. He describes the Stargates as complex machines that would create a kind of wormhole, allowing participants to step into one place and emerge either in the past, the future, or like I said, another planet like Mars. How, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it seems pretty simple, though.
The way someone described wormholes to me is if you had...
Are you doing
like,
the thing where you fold the piece of paper in half? Yeah. No, I get
so like you got... Yeah. And then it just connects them. And I don't know.
The wormhole thing wasn't what I was confused about.
Okay. That's where I was like, I think this is how it's done.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, all right. So this is how it would work. So basically, you would step into a specially designed structure known as a jump room. They would flip the Stargate on. I assume like toggle some switches, turn some knobs, and like the wormhole would open, and you just walk on through, and I guess pop out wherever you were supposed to like end up. Yeah. Now, here's where I don't fully know how the time travel part of this works. And here's why. Like, I get the teleportation. Like, you step into one thing, you pop out another. That makes sense to me. But as far as time travel goes, like, do you go in and pop out like the same Stargate just in the past, future, or like Mars or whatever? Do you go through and you go out a second Stargate and you're in the past or future there? Like, if I'm in Philly and I have a Stargate and there's another Stargate in Florida, like, if I want to go back in time, do I step through mine and then end up in the past in Florida? Or do I come out my own Stargate in Philly, just like in the past of Philly? And does this mean that like the government, like, do they have to go back in time or the future and install Stargates to be used at all points in time throughout history? Or does the Stargate travel with me? Because like, how would I get back?
Exactly. There's so many problems with time travel. And the more I think about it, like the more I'm like, you can't, because here's the thing. Like, have you ever, with archaeological digs, right? They're always digging in the ground and They can say like, oh, this is saying, this is this era, and then further down is this era. So let's say I want to go back to dinosaur times, right?
Yeah.
Would I just come out like 20 feet in the air and then fall to the ground because the ground wasn't that high before?
I don't know. You could also be in the middle of the ocean.
Exactly. I don't like my chances, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. But you know what I think our problem is, Sarge?
What?
Is that we're thinking about it?
We're thinking about it.
Yeah,
don't think about it.
Yeah, you just gotta stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
So anyways, according to Andrew, these Stargates were installed in various secret locations all around the world, including one at Curtiss Wright Aeronautic Company in New Jersey. There's also one at Los Alamos in New Mexico, because of course that's where there would be one.
Yeah.
But those are just like terrestrial locations. Andrew also claimed that the U.S. government had a secret base on Mars, so of course we got to put a Stargate there, naturally, obviously. Yeah. And that brings us to our final piece of time travel technology. The U.S. government also developed a piece of equipment known as the chronovisor. The chronovisor. Now, the chronovisor, from what I can gather, is basically just like the Oculus headset. Like it allowed participants to view historical and future events as if they were watching like a live holographic broadcast. It's basically like VR. Like you can watch the events play out in real time, but you can't you aren't physically there and you can't interact with anything. How this works, I have no fucking idea. Like, I don't know how this would work. I would like to be able to use, of all the things that you've mentioned, I feel like I would prefer the chronovisor. Yes.
Like, I don't want to go back in time. What if I encounter an illness that I'm not familiar with and my body just fucking dies immediately? But what if I bring something terrible back and change all the other timelines? I would rather just look. Yeah. Like, I just want to know what stuff looked like.
True. And also with the teleporter, like, I don't want to have a fly situation on my hands. Like, I don't want to.
Right.
Like, yeah, all this. I don't know. I feel like Andrew wasn't a details guy when he was coming up with this. Like,
no, which is weird for a lawyer.
But also, I feel like for a conspiracy theorist, like, I feel like some of these things, some of them, like, you can tell they're fake because of the crazy amount of detail that they put into it. But this is just like lazy, I feel like.
Well, I also think maybe he's not a real lawyer either.
That I don't know. I didn't look into his.
Or like maybe he went to like America Samoa University, go land crabs. You know what I mean? Not like a real college. Like he went to like Arizona State. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Just kidding. My brother goes to Arizona State. I'm just being a jerk. But yeah, like is he like an expert in bird law? Like he can't be a lawyer. A real lawyer doesn't believe that you could travel through time unless of course you're, what's that guy's name?
He is a real lawyer and we will just don't worry about it.
Okay.
He's
like Lynn Wood. You know who Lynn Wood is, right?
Yes, yeah.
That crazy son of a bitch.
Now, Andrew claims that the government used the chronovisor to view like potential quote unquote future events. And this allowed them to make strategic decisions based on like the probable outcome.
Okay.
He went on to describe how the chronovisor would sometimes show multiple different futures. And then the government agents would use this information to like prepare for different scenarios. Apparently 9/11 wasn't one of them because.
Yeah, neither was coronavirus.
Yeah. So anyway,
we just flew blind into that one. Nice work, guys.
So when you're using the chronovisor, you're pretty much like a passive observer of like the past and the future, and you can't interact. You can only watch, basically like a time traveling cuck. But it's different. I like
to watch.
But it's a different story with the Stargates. Like participants of Project Pegasus were indeed sent to different periods of time to observe, and in some cases, like influence historical events. Andrew himself claimed to have witnessed the Gettysburg Address, the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. He interacted with future presidents, even saying that some people were groomed to be future presidents, and even went to Mars. And Sarge, that is where we will pick up next week with Andrew's exploits in time travel, his missions to Mars with Barack Obama. We're also going to discuss his 2016 presidential run. This man is still alive, and you could call him today if you wanted to.
We're going to. We should get him on the show.
We're also going to talk about the connections between like Project Pegasus, the Montauk Project, and the Philadelphia Experiment, how they all kind of come together. We're going to do all that next week. Sarge, so far, how are you feeling about Project Pegasus? I feel like we went through a lot.
I am erect.
We kind of rushed through a lot of it too. Like there's a bunch of shit.
I'm very hard right now. We have piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
I need to know so much more, and we need to get this guy on the show. I can't imagine that he is super busy.
If you want to find out his contact information and reach out to him, maybe he can give us.
Yes. Yes, please send me his full name, and we're going to make this happen.
Yeah. Like I said, he ran for president in 2016. So he can't be that old. If he was like 6 years old in the like late 70s or early 70s.
I want to know. I want to know what kind of crazy he is. Like, is he Rudy Giuliani crazy? Like age just got the better of him, or is he Linwood crazy? Like shit in his pants.
I couldn't tell you. I just know that it's going to be, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So yeah.
They got to track him down. This sounds super fascinating. I am very excited for the next. I love these kinds of conspiracies.
Yeah.
Because they're just so insane, but they also trigger this like spot in my imagination.
Yeah. My favorite is the fact that he brings Barack Obama into it. And
I know. I'm going to love that.
It's the best part is that so he ran for president in 2016, and we'll cover this more in the next episode, but he did call out Barack Obama like during like all of that, and of course Barack Obama like never responded. Like he was
of course not.
But the conspiracy theorists took like his like not even entertaining the idea that he was part of time travel missions to Mars as like proof that he did have time travel. You know what I mean? It's like the silence equals acceptance kind of thing.
Of course.
And it's just like, fuck, dude. But it gets so
That's
good.
why I get so frustrated with the CAA when they're like, we can neither confirm nor deny our relationship with this person. And it's like, well, I mean, come on. When you say that
just means you're confirming it. I feel like when someone says I can neither confirm nor deny, that means to me, that's just like office speak for confirming it.
Right. But every once in a while, the CIA is like, no, we have no idea who that guy is. It's every once in a while, but they did it recently with some jackass who was pretending to be a CIA agent. And they were like, no, you were definitely not part of the CIA.
But also that could be that he was.
I know. You can't really trust him, right? You're very sneaky.
Oh, shit. All right, Sarge. Well, that's the episode. Any last thoughts, comments, questions? You can see how this is related to the Montauk Project, though. Minus the telepathic and mind creatures.
Yeah, I can't wait for this to get real weird.
It's gonna. It's
already weird. I want it to get real weird.
Yeah, it's gonna get real good.
I'm so excited.
All right, so with that, Sarge, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, my coloring book, sargesupernormal.com, $9.99. It's a coloring book. It's got activities in it. And, it's not for your kids, so don't give it to them unless you want them to learn all kinds of new swears. What else? Vote. Please vote.
Yeah, please vote.
Please participate because otherwise, I'm not going to get into the details, but you should vote. Yeah. That's all I got. You can follow us on the internet. You can just Google Sarge the Destroyer. I'm the only person dumb enough to use that name, so it's pretty easy to find me. Or you could just go to the Cryptid Cocktail Party Instagram, and there's a thing there that has all of our links in it.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help you out, man. I know you're feeling a little foggy today.
No, you did it. You're great. I love you.
I wanted to jump in. I love you.
Let's see. I think that's it. If you guys got any stories you want to share with us,
please share your
either
stories.
One of us a message or an email at cryptidcocktail@gmail.com.
And Bill's Mafia Dad shared that story. I still haven't read it. I apologize, Bill's Mafia Dad. I'm going to get to it. I promise.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
I'll share that story next week.
Cryptidcocktail@gmail.com, or shoot any one of us, just a DM, keep it brief, keep it also keep, I was going to say keep it family friendly, but you know what I mean?
It's not family friendly. So just make it. Yeah. Just tell us the story. I mean, if it's like a letter to Penthouse kind of story, maybe warn us first so I don't read it live on air. But
if you're fucking a ghost, just, give us a heads up.
Still tell us, but send animation, draw it out for us.
Yeah. Leave us a rating and review. That'd be awesome.
Tell your friends about us.
tell your dad. What's your dad like? Tell him about the show.
And drink Narragansett.
And yes, please drink Narragansett.
Okay.
All right, Sarge, with that out of the way, would you like to say goodbye and I love you to the audience?
Hey, everybody. Goodbye. And I love you.